Hello, everyone. My name is Cristiano Barros from Klaston Management. And as you know, we are a global ISO company. We help companies around the world to achieve their objectives in accordance with ISO standards. I'm talking about ISO 9001, 40001, 13485, and different types of standards. And today we have here with us Gosda. Gosda, can you please introduce yourself?
Of course. Hi, Cristiano. Thanks for having me here. I'm Gözde Öz from Turkey, Ankara. I would say that I'm a competent quality assurance and regulatory affairs associated with over like 6 years. I've been involved in different sorts of medical device projects, including for startups and also the corporate players. And I'm here today to talk with you about medical device auditing.
It's a pleasure, having you here
Same here. Thanks.
is on in this moment. And the subject of our podcast today, we are talking about medical device, the importance of audits on the medical device sectors.
Mm,
So as we are providing, Gosda, as you know, Gosda is one of our associates for Turkey and Middle East and other parts, right? And so let's go directly to some question to bring as much as we can information to the companies, right? What is one audit of medical device, Gosda? In your opinion, please,
mm,
how can you
mm.
explain what is one audit of medical device?
Okay, so let's begin with the fundamentals. The audit of medical devices is like a systematic evaluation of manufacturers' quality management system and the processes, and obviously the product which is manufactured by them. So it's kind of a systematic, independent at the same time, and also the documented process for what? For obtaining the objective evidence and evaluating it objectively to determine the extent of, which the audit criteria are fulfilled. When I telling you the auditing criteria, it can be like the policies, procedures, applicable standards and regulations, and that's all. So medical device audits serves as a critical quality control mechanism to ensure compliance with regulatory standards and you know also the industry best practices. So auditors examine various processes, the device's life cycle from design and development phase, manufacturing, and also the post-market surveillance phase.
Wow, great. Great information, Gosda. Thank you very much for your collaboration. And following on that sense, Gosda, why are audits of medical device so important? I know that you told us why it's important, but why are medical device so important?
hmm So the importance of medical device audits, cannot be overstated. We can say that, for instance, they are like the audits, like gatekeepers, let's say, that prevent the, unsafe devices reaching the market. So an audit can, reveal an issues in design or manufacturing or even post-market performance. So consider it if that is unaddressed, that could have a dire of consequences. So without the intervention of such an audit, this sort of things can result in harm in countless, patients. So that's why it's very important.
Yeah, we are talking about life, right?
Yeah, definitely. And they also help the manufacturers, put their quality management system comply with the applicable regulatory requirements, and also they help ensure that the medical devices are safe, effective, and suitable for their intended uses. So it's kind of important.
Yeah, we need to be sure that the medical devices are fit to work. I mean, fit of the purpose that should be
Intended
right.
use, yes,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah, definitely. And Gosda, what are the benefits of odds of medical device for the companies, right? What the companies gain? What are the benefits
Mm-hmm.
around
Mm-hmm.
doing odds of medical device?
Mm-hmm. So yeah, why do manufacturers willingly, subject themselves to these sort of medical device audits? Because the benefits are manifold here. I should say that because um, we can consider that improved product quality and enhanced patient safety. So it's also reducing risk of, and the cost at the same time for associated with non-conformity, let's say, or recall or adverse events. So this is a kind of huge benefits, and also it's increased the market access. So why don't we have it?
Yeah, yeah, I fully agree with you. So, guys, that it was great explanation about the benefits of medical device, and who can conduct audits of medical device. I mean, everyone can conduct one audit on medical
Mm-hmm.
device sectors, or need to be or must be a person certified, competent, capable to provide this kind of medical device audit.
Yep. Audits can be performed by a variety of entities and each with its own specific role, let's say. And I can give you some examples depending on the type and the scope of the audit, obviously. They can be various. For instance, the regulatory agency or notified body that are authorized to issue some certificate or even for the approval of medical devices. Or accredited third parties organizations that provide independent verification and certification as well, or even the customers or end users that want to evaluate the quality and suitability of the medical device itself, or even the internal auditors of the manufacturers, so they can uh, deep dive the quality management system and find some gaps and deficiency to for continuous improvement.
Yeah, yeah. So these people that will provide odds on the medical device sector must
Yep,
be people very capable, very certified, competent, right, to
definitely.
provide this kind of audits, for sure. And
Mm-hmm.
Rosda, please, can you explain for us what is the different types? What are the different types of audits of medical device sectors? What kind of, let's say, different audits may we have on that sector?
Mm, for instance, for manufacturers, it's crucial to understand the various types of audits within the medical device industry.
Yeah,
So, the most common types, I will just say some examples. For instance, like system audits, where the medical devices manufacturers' quality management system is assessed. For this purpose, for instance, we can say like certification audits as an example. For instance, these are conducted by notified bodies or third parties, organizations to assess whether the medical device manufacturer quality management system meets the requirements for a specific, certification scheme, like as in the case of ISO 13485 or even MD sub, for instance.
yeah,
And what else? The surveillance audit, I can give an example. These are audits conducted again by notified bodies and some third-party organizations to monitor the continued compliance of the manufacturer quality management system. Other than that, I can give you some example like supplier audits. So these are audits conducted by medical device manufacturers or their customer to assess the quality and reliability of their suppliers or even subcontractors, processes. And one last example I can give again internal audits. So these are audits conducted by medical devices manufacturers themselves, check the effectiveness of compliance of their own quality management system. We can give these sort of examples here.
great audit. Was it's been really very, very important, important those information that we are providing here for the general team of the top management of the organization that will assist us, will being seeing, this video. And of course, we have another question here,
Mhm.
even relevant for this moment. How often should audits, the people normally, the people currently asking us, as a consultant company, how often should audits of medical device be conducted? It's really important, right? Because the people think that, oh, I usually do, or we usually to provide here internally one day audit, or once a year audit on the medical device department on the medical device
Mhm.
production. But let's say if we have a main change, in our medical device, it should be taken in consideration when we are planning one audit on the medical device.
Yep. So I should say that the frequency of such audits is depends on several factors. First of all, it's like the type or the scope of the audit. It's important for in order to understand the frequency, or the risk classification of the medical devices also can be an input for this sort of discussion. And regulatory requirements and expectations of the relevant jurisdictions is also important. But as a general rule of thumb, for instance, you might have contractual obligations or agreements with some customer or even the other parties, let's say. So normally certification audits, conducted at least once every 3 years, and surveillance audits are conducted at least once every year. For instance, recertification audits are conducted before the expiry date of the certificate. um, for instance, supplier audits are conducted in accordance with the supplier evaluation plan. So
Yeah,
you may want to increase the frequency because of you don't quite happy with the supplier performance or even the scars, let's say, might be an input to increase the frequency of such audit, or even the internal audits, as you say, that conducted in accordance with the internal audit plan, but the risk-based approach is important. So if you have already identified some sort of non-conformities there, you may want to increase the frequency to
yeah,
take a closer look and to make sure that, for instance, corrective action of yours is verified, for instance.
yeah. Because the non-conformance process can mitigate or can reduce the possibility of new
Yep.
fines being happen, right? Because you can increase
Mm,
the control and the monitoring of this process, right? That
yep,
get more
definitely.
non-conformance. Let's say during one surveillance out or from a third part, or for sure, I fully agree with you. What are the most common finds? Oh, guys, it's really important, right? What are the
Mm,
most common finds of audits of medical device, in your opinion, please?
mm-hmm. So, as a manufacturer, knowing what the auditors, typically uncover is kind of essential here. So, the most common findings of audits for medical devices are the non-conformances, which are like instance where the audited entity doesn't meet the audit criteria. So, non-conformance can be, diverse into several. Uh, Based on the severity levels, let's say. For instance, we have like critical nonconformities. So in this case, the nonconformities that pose a serious risk to patient safety or public health, or that indicate a complete breakdown of the quality management system. So these sort of nonconformances require immediate corrective action and may result in suspension or even withdrawal of the certification or approval. So we do have another one, the major nonconformances. So these are the nonconformances that have a significant impact on the quality and performance of the medical devices itself, or that indicate a systemic failure within the quality management system. So they require a timely corrective action.
Yeah.
And one last thing, we do have minor non-conformances. So these are the non-conformances, that have a minor impact on the quality and performance of the medical device, or that indicate an isolated deficiency in the quality management system. So they also require corrective action within a reasonable time frame, and they may result in increased surveillance or follow-up activities, as we mentioned earlier. So I would like to also give you some examples of common non-conformances, such as inadequate or missing documentation of processes, procedures, records, or even ineffective uh, implementation of these processes is also kind of a non-conformance, we can
Yeah.
say that. Insufficient or inappropriate validation, verification, testing of the medical device, or even lack of or insufficient training and qualification and competence of personnel can be resolved with the non-conformity. And obviously, the non-compliance with the regulatory requirements and standards, and that's for sure, result with the non-conformity. And the poor management of changes, risks, complaints, incidents, or corrective and preventive action also can be say as an example of most common non-conformities we face with during the audits.
Great. Nice explanation for sure. What's that? What should the medical device manufacturers do if
Mm,
non-conforms are found during one audit? I think that this question is really important, and lots of people that will, see this video will keep, on this question. What should medical device manufacturers do if a non-conformance are found during one audit? Because it's most common, or it can happen during one audit. You find,
definitely.
some non-conformance. What should those companies do, if a non-conformance happen?
Mm-hmm. So first of all, the preparation is kind of important here, is a key to successful audit, let's say. Uh, there are lots of things to do, that's fortune. So establish and maintain robust quality management system that meets the all applicable regulation and standard is the first of all, the importance. And conduct regular internal audits and self-assessment to identify and address any gaps or weaknesses in the quality management system, and also implementing effective corrective and preventive actions to prevent recurrence of the non-conformance of issues is also important. Train, qualify all personnel involving in the design and development, manufacturing, distribution, or even servicing of the medical device is also important. But there are something is important, and these are some also important things here I've listed. So communicate and cooperate with the auditor before, during, and after the audit is kind of important. So you should, as a manufacturer, you should provide all the necessary information and access to the auditor in a timely and transparent manner. And you should definitely respond to any findings or requests from the auditor in a constructive and a professional way. So these are pretty important things.
Wow, too many information. And even though lots of information here, super necessary, extremely necessary, for the companies. And just the last one to
Mm-hmm,
conclude, in your opinion, Gosda, what
mm-hmm,
are the consequences of failing to comply with findings of one audit of a medical device?
mm-hmm. So yeah, failing to address and holding findings can lead to dire consequences. But it can vary again depending on the type and the severity of the non-conformance and the type and the scope of the audit, or even the regulatory requirements and the expectation of the relevant jurisdictions. That's for
Yeah.
sure. But they can include what? suspension or withdrawal of certification or approval for medical device or even the quality management system itself, or even imposition of sanctions, fines, penalties, or legal actions by regulatory agency or other authorities. What else? The loss of market access, we can say that. The damage to reputation, obviously, or credibility of medical device or even the medical device manufacturer. So we can say these one for sure as a
Yeah,
consequence of failing to comply with the findings of the audits.
yeah. If I would respond for this question, I think that the failure to attend or the possibility to die someone, because we are dealing with life, right?
Yeah, definitely, as you say.
And damage to company reputation, it's also something um, really serious, right?
Mm-hmm.
That it should take into consideration. But anyway, Gosda, I would thank you very much for your cooperation, for your collaboration here with us. It was really great to have you here, listen you talking about the importance of medical device audits. And if you are seeing this video, if you would like to contract us, please feel free to get in contact with us. Klaston.com, we can help your company, around the world to achieve their objectives in accordance with ISO standards, especially on the medical device and the electrical medical device, right? Gosda, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Cristiano, for having me here. It was a
Okay,
pleasure.
it was a pleasure for me too. Bye for now. Bye bye.
Bye bye.